What's going on, YouTube? This is Jimifanis, aka Viper Magic, and today I want to show you guys the insane stopping ability of Uther the Lightbringer and Stitches. Now, I know, I made a video a couple weeks ago about how much I hated Uther, hashtag rest in peace Uther, how much he sucked like the Alliance, how much of a loser he was, and I'm going to spend the next 19 minutes telling you guys why I'm an idiot and why you shouldn't have believed me then, but you should believe me now. And this video is hopefully going to give you guys the proof to show why Uther is a great character when used in the correct situation. Now, a lot of people like myself had sticker shock when Uther was changed in the last patch because they really changed the way the character played. In the beginning of the game, he was a healer's healer. He had a lot of healing. The cooldowns on the healing were shorter. He was able to mix it up, and he had this really cool stun, which was a great little thing to have and a great little bonus. But he was a tanky healer that got in the fray. He could regenerate health in people around him when he was attacking by a perk. He could get his own mana back when he was hitting people. So he was one of these healers who was always out in the combat, always out in the field. And he was more tanky than others. I'm not going to say he was on the caliber of like a Diablo or a Stitches, but he could hold his own okay. However, when the patch came out, Uther's time to regenerate his spells and his cooldowns on his spells increased drastically. And as a result, Uther could do one big monster heal and then nothing. And what would end up happening is you would stand there and watch your teammates around you just vaporize. So if you're the kind of player that gets into these huge team fights and you want to be the healer that's going to turn your health, quickly back, and you're going to be spamming healing like a Malfurion or a Lily, those are the characters you need to stick with. Uther is not going to be that guy. What Uther is going to be great at is a very quick amount of burst healing and a very quick amount of burst stunning, which, when used in correct situations, is going to give you the time you need in order to make some really wicked kills. Now, Stitches works really good with Uther because Stitches is a nice tanky character, and Stitches has one of the greatest heroic abilities in the game, which is Gorge. And what Gorge does is Stitches will suck an enemy up into his stomach and walk around and puke them out about 3.5 seconds later. When they are spit out, they're going to take a little bit of damage, but that's not the focus. You can walk away from battle for 3.5 seconds. Think about how the battle's going. You can turn your back. You can set up for body blocks. When the character that has been eaten is spit out, they are still stunned. Now, Uther's standing there waiting. I've already got the body position on you. Now I'm going to hit you with my hammer. Now you're going for a ride because we're going to drop you. And even though our damage isn't that great, it doesn't have to be because we've afforded ourselves a very long time to do so. Now, I know you're saying, well, geez, why would you build a whole game around Gorge? Well, you don't have to. That's obviously a great, when you can get that play off, that's great. But Stitch's hook also will pull an enemy towards you. And when Stitches pulls his hook towards you, there's Uther waiting. Now, the hook does a little better damage than some of the other abilities. Obviously, it's not as strong because you're giving up some of the damage in terms for some of the situational control of the map. But like I said, these two work out. So I want to talk about Uther's abilities now, and then I'm going to shut up and let you guys just see this build in action. There's a couple key abilities that Uther needs to have. I'm not going to focus on every level with Uther because a lot of them are playstyle preference, but I'll tell you the ones you need to have in order to make this build work. At level 1, you have to take the Fist of Justice. The Fist of Justice will reduce your Hammer of Justice cooldown by 1 second on every basic attack. What this means is when you are in Uther mode and you're ready to lock people down, you need to constantly be hitting things. Whether it's hitting minions, whether it's rushing towers, whether it's hitting walls even, you need to be swinging that hammer. And that's going to get that Fist of Justice cooled down, and you're going to be ready to use it for when the time comes. It's very, very important to have. At level 4, another ability you have to have is the Hammer of the Lightbringer. The nice thing about Hammer of Lightbringer is that it's going to constantly give you back 8 mana on each swing. As we've already mentioned, you're going to be doing a lot of basic attacking with your Fist of Justice perk. So taking an 8 mana boost every time makes a big difference. And you'll see in this video how long I stay quote-unquote in the field with Uther on each engagement. And yes, I do have to run back to the well in early game, and there's a few times I have to duck away and recoup my breath. But for the most part, I'm out in the field fighting, and I'm always there, and I'm always a presence. Using that makes a very, very big difference. At level 7, you have to take the burden of guilt. After your Hammers of Justice's stun is completed, your enemy's movement speed will be reduced by 30% for 2 more seconds. That is a very long time. That movement speed difference is enough to get you another auto attack in on both Stitches and on Uther. And that auto attack obviously gives you more mana. That auto attack obviously cools down your Fist of Justice again for another swing. And if you are lucky enough to have a ranged attacker, they're going to get at least 1 to 2 more shots in. That's going to continue to slow them down or burn them out. And it's a very, very difficult combination to counter against. And you can see where the synergies are really lining up here. At level 10, Divine Storm is important because it stuns for 1.5 seconds. So now, on top of if you have a Stitches in your team, which I highly recommend you do, and you're hanging out with Stitches, you can have Stitches use his ability. You can hit them with your Fist of Justice to stun them. And if you really need to, you can use your Divine Storm to stun them again. You're talking a lot of stuns. You're talking almost 4 seconds of stuns. That is an eternity in this game. And trust me, when your core is being wailed on and you're waiting to respawn, 4 seconds might as well be 4 decades. Now, Divine Storm does significantly less damage than it used to. Back in the day, Uther could walk in and pop that thing and blow everyone away. You're not going to do much damage. What you're going to do is you're going to use it as a stun ability. And that is very important to remember because, as I mentioned, you're going to be doing a lot of stunning. I hope you're starting to catch the gist of this. So those are the abilities I highly recommend you stick with. Yeah, there's some other ones that you could play around with as you get later on. I'm scanning through them now to see if there's anything that's really important. And I don't really see the case. I mean, you could, if you wanted to, use Holy Shock to blast. You could use it as an attack. That would be maybe good if enemies are constantly getting away and you need that little extra bit of damage. However, I would really recommend against that because Uther is not really good of a healer when it comes to healing, and you're going to need that to keep yourself up. Now, Stitches does take the perk level 4 called Amplified Healing, which gives him a little more healing. You may be able to skate by solely healing Stitches with your Holy Radiance ability. However, I'd recommend against that, and I would really consider sticking with Holy Light as your primary ability. And I wouldn't use it in an offensive capacity if you really could avoid it. I think that's very important. Okay, so now that I kind of laid out some of the ground rules for how Uther works, here's the deal. You're going to want to play. You're always going to want to be moving around and hitting things. That's a no-brainer. Okay, we've already established that. Another important piece to this build is body blocking and putting yourself in a situation where you're going to take a little bit more damage than you probably would like to. As a healer, your natural instinct is to go stand in the back. However, with this ability, with constantly using your hammer to constantly regenerate mana and constantly cool down your ability, you're going to find that you need to be up in the front as much as possible. So, you're going to have your buddy, or you're going to be Stitches and Uther. I don't care who's doing what. Uther is good for bait because a lot of people see Uther on the battlefield and go, oh, it's Uther. And you know what? They're right. If you look at my numbers at the end of this map, and we crushed it, you're going to see that my numbers aren't anything to write home about. So one-on-one in most engagements, people are going to see Uther and say, oh, well, yeah, it's just Uther the Lightbringer. You know, he's a nobody. I mean, I'm just going to go run at him. And if Stitches is standing back a little bit farther, you know, kind of in the, in the periphery, you're going to find that he's going to be able to pull things a little bit quicker, and that's going to help out a significant amount. Does that make sense? So you're going to have to be running around, and you're almost going to be like bait. So, as you see in a lot of these battles, I'm getting in there. I'm stunning people. I'm calling out my target to my buddy on TeamSpeak. We're focus firing down. I'm hitting again. I'm cooling down my stun. Focus fire, cooling them down. You see me running around. I'm hitting the walls. I'm hitting minions. I'm just constantly moving, constantly engaged. and kiting people if I need to, or playing bait if I need to for Stitches to come back into the fray. And I think you're going to find that this build works very, very well for you. So what I want you guys to do is try this out. Let me know what you guys think. I know I'm not full of crap here. I thought before when I was telling you guys how much I hated Uther, I thought I was onto something there. But a lot of my friends said to give him a second chance, and I have to say I am glad that they did. Pick a good place to lock down your stuns. Use your body blocks. Use your turrets and other defenses to your advantage. If you have a ranged attacker to help you, use that to your advantage. Always try to position yourself in such a way that it's going to take the enemy just a smidge longer to get away, and let your offensive characters and your tank characters do the rest. And I think you will have great success with this build. I'm going to shut up now and let you enjoy the rest of this stomping. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching. Do me a favor. Comment, rate, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about the new and improved Uther combat build. Do you like the fact that this guy is a stun magnet? Or do you think that he's better the way he was before? Do you have a better build than I do? I would love to hear it. I am always on this game and I'm always trying to improve. So let's help each other. As always, thanks for watching. And until next time, I and Uther, the Combat Control Master, will see you guys on the other side.
Blue team's core is taking damage. The dragon shall rest no longer. Unleash its power. Red team has destroyed a fort.
I shall reduce you to cinder.
Taking damage. Shrines are gathering power. The Dragon Knight calls from within stone. dragon awaits, heroes. Free him and destroy your enemy. Blue team's core is under attack. Team's core is under attack. Hero slain. Blue team double.